tackles. He is the king of yards after the catch, and he joins us right now. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm quite well. Thank you for asking.
You're safe now that you're out of Philly.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel much more at home in the friendly confines of Northern California.
I know you are writing, have written, and have more writing coming up. Here's a little nugget for you. You may or may not have. You usually know everything, but here's something you can use. The Niners now control their own destiny for the number one seed in the NFC, Matt.
Oh, wow. Hold on. I'm jotting this down.
Please do.
Pen and paper in hand. Yeah.
Credit Sactown Sports.
That's big. That's been their goal since the bye week. And so they're in the driver's seat now. Win and they get to rest in week one of the playoff.
Yeah, and how important do you think that is to the organization? I mean, that's obviously a goal because you get more wins. You want that. You want home field. But is that really their target, what they want done here, what they're trying to achieve still?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, this is a team that's played in a lot of championship games over the last, decade plus. And, they know that, they're better off if they're getting that bye week for a number of reasons. You have the rest factor. To me, it's just one less game where something weird can happen. I mean, this team has had bad injuries in the playoffs. Up in Seattle in 2013. Remember, Trent Williams was playing with a high ankle sprain in the most recent championship game, the one in Los Angeles, and really wasn't himself in that game. And that was a game in which the Rams defensive line really was pushing the 49ers around. He had a Trent Williams who was 65, 70% maybe in that game. My point is that just all the weird things that can happen in a game are eliminated if you don't play. So I think that's a very big deal, and it's something that the team is very much shooting for these last four games. Not going to be easy. I mean, I think there's going to be a number of players out for the next game against Arizona. And then you've got the Ravens at home, and then you've got Washington on a short week on the East Coast. So it's not an easy way to wrap up the season, but that's going to be their mindset.
All right, as Matt Barrows joins us, courtesy of Stockton Honda, Northern California's #1 Honda dealer.
Matt, maybe you could use this from our YouTube notes. The Niners are 4-0 against bird teams this season, completing a 3-week sweep of the Seahawks, Eagles, and Seahawks again. They already beat the Cardinals once. They have another matchup with them, and then the Ravens for a chance to go 6-0 against the birds. But that may depend on injuries. Matt, can you tell us anything about the scrapes and bruises and hopefully nothing worse from yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, we'll learn more when Kyle Shanahan talks today at 3:30. Charvarius Ward left in the first quarter with a groin injury. Just watching him, it didn't look as if he was hampered, but he didn't come back into the game. That's usually a 1 to 2 week injury, so I would say that the Cardinals game is very much in doubt for him, and then he might be back for the Ravens game. Trey Greenlaw came back into the game. Javon Hargrave, that would be another huge one, considering that Eric Armstead is already out with a foot and knee injury. He had a hamstring and didn't return to the game. So no Armstead and no Hargrave. That would be a big double whammy. It would mean a lot of snaps for Javon Kinlaw, for Kevin Givens, for Kalia Davis. They'd have to bring up a guy from their practice squad, T.Y. McGill. So that would be a major storyline, I think, going into another bird week, Cardinals week. Hey, Dave, I've got one for you.
Okay.
The Ravens are visiting Levi's Stadium. There are no Ravens in the city of Baltimore, and probably very few in the state of Maryland. There's a pair of Ravens that live at Levi's Stadium.
What?
And I think that's irony. I don't really know the definition of irony, but I'm going to say that's a great example of irony.
I'm going to give you a piece of irony that you just made me aware of, because I just found this out literally like 3 months ago. So there are like no Ravens in Baltimore, but did you know there's actually a Baltimore Oriole? I didn't know this. Like literally, it's called the Baltimore Oriole. It's orange and black. It looks just like the logo. I just thought they were the Orioles for fun, but there's an actual Oriole called the Baltimore Oriole.
Well, I did know that. Yeah, I grew up in that area and was an Orioles fan growing up. So, yeah, I did know that there was a actual bird called the Baltimore Oriole. And, of course, the raven is named after Edgar Allan Poe, and he famously died in Baltimore. So there's a very macabre logo there. But I think you have to get up into the mountains, really western Maryland in order to see a raven. But there ain't no ravens in Baltimore.
Damn right. All right.
Matt, it was another really good game for Deebo Samuel. He was just incredible. His influence on this offense, Kyle Shanahan afterwards said he's playing at maybe his highest level ever. What does he do for this offense when he is playing like this?
Yeah, I mean, this was a game where I thought it was obvious that they had a little post-Philadelphia malaise to start out, and you can't blame them for that. Just the logistics of that would lend itself to a slow start, but it was really Deebo that touchdown in the second quarter that woke this team up and sort of gave them the jolt that they needed, and that's what Deebo does. He jolts the other team, but I think that his play, his passion, the way that he runs the ball and fights through tackles, that gets everybody around him going as well. And that's what they needed. He was their double espresso yesterday. I mean, he's the guy that woke them up and got them going, and that's what he's been doing. I mean, that was what the 2021 season was all about. And that's been happening since the bye as well, which is when he got healthy.
Matt Barrows with us. Brock Purdy. I know that, look, you live in the world of actual journalism and you don't bother yourself with this stuff. I live in the world of, trash journalism and everyone yells at each other. I'm overcome with anger, not just as a Niner fan, but also as a sports host at this disrespect of Brock Purdy. And when you hear things, Matt, like he's assistant quarterback, he doesn't throw downfield. He's surrounded by Pro Bowlers who do all the work for him. Everything's yards after the catch. Does it ever make you raise an eyebrow?
I mean, no. I think everything that you said initially is true, that it's been Brock Purdy that's been sort of operating this machine and operating it at a level that they've never seen before. I mean, they had a very good quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo here for several years. Purdy has gone beyond that, and it's obvious that he has. And I think the numbers at the end of the season are going to show that, not since Jeff Garcia are we going to see a quarterback who has the amount of yards that he has. What I wrote about today is that he's got 3 pass catchers who have a very good shot of going over 1,000 yards. And 3 on one team is extremely rare. The 49ers have never had it. So, a team that's been captained by Joe Montana and Steve Young, that's had John Taylor, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Roger Craig, etc. They've never had a team that's had 3 1,000-yard receivers. Even the greatest show on turf, Rams team, never had 3 1,000-yard receivers. That's rare. And that speaks directly to the quarterback. 17 games, yes, that gives you one extra game in some of these past teams. That gives you a little extra boost, but that says everything about the quarterback and how prolific he is and how aggressive he is. And that's not what a system quarterback is.
And you add all those offensive numbers through the air, Matt, with the leading rusher in the NFL. What a luxury this team has for Kyle Shanahan on a week-to-week basis of what he can do and who he can highlight in his offense.
Yeah, and you saw that in the first play of the game, 72 yards. I mean, it's gotten to a point where I think it's clear that the 49ers are the best team in the league, and now, the pressure is going to be on them to maintain their health, and everybody's going to be gunning for them. They're going to be playing teams pretty soon that, beating the 49ers is their Super Bowl. And so if you just can't take any games off, any weeks off, none of that stuff. I don't think that the 49ers are going to do a lot of resting of starters in week 18, for example, against the Rams. The Rams are going to have something to play for, and the 49ers probably will be, still playing for that number one seed. So this is a team that's got to go full throttle, pedal to the metal from here on out.
I want to go back to Purdy real quick because for a while it was just thrown around sort of for fun, just to give him some love. I know the odds makers are now on board. Matt, Brock Purdy is second in the league in yards by quarterbacks. And, I'm not rooting for this, but if CJ Stroud misses this week, which he very well could, Purdy will almost certainly pass him for number one. Brock Purdy is second in the league in touchdowns. He is tied with Josh Allen for second, just 3 behind Dak Prescott. He is first in rating by 6 points. He is first in QBR as well. How is in your opinion Brock Purdy, season ends today? Oh, by the way, his team's 10-3. Is Brock Purdy the league MVP?
Yeah, I think he is. His yards per attempt is also, I think it's a full yard, might even be more beyond the second place guy to in Miami. I think it's going to come down between Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy. And Dak Prescott has been a national story for so long, and he's having a great season. And I think that the only way that Purdy loses it to Prescott is that Prescott is just such a bigger name. People have been following him for longer, and he is having sort of a bounce back season. So that storyline would carry the day. Now, the AP voters who vote for this, these are handpicked people who are very. It isn't just random Joes. These people are involved in the league. They're picked for that, for a reason. So my point is that in saying that is that they should be taking into account everything that you just listed, all the nuances, all the ways that Brock Purdy has excelled this year. I just think that storyline wise, just his overall notoriety. I think that Prescott probably has the advantage there.
And just real quick, Brock Purdy in yards per pass thrown, at least, number one at 9.9. Tagovailoa second at 8.6. Stroud 8 point, but more than a yard. Stroud at 8.2. Dak Prescott 7.8, tied for fourth with Lamar Jackson. I mean, it's fun to say it, and it's fun to think it. And maybe he loses, to Jason's point we've been talking about all year. Maybe he rightfully splits a little bit with Christian McCaffrey, but it just I don't know how you. I just don't know what the case is against him being MVP when he's checking every single box.
That number you just pointed out, that's a Kurt Warner-like number, right, from I forget what year, 99. Greatest show on turf era. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, one gigantic play after another. I think Brock Purdy might even be beyond Kurt Warner. And Kurt Warner won MVP that year. And Kurt Warner was the stock boy in the grocery store. He was a unknown at that point. So Kurt Warner is a great precedent for Brock Purdy. The guy who was playing, I forget what the team was that Warner played for in the defunct league before going into the NFL. That's sort of like being Mr. Irrelevant. So there is precedent for it. Again, I think that the voters are sophisticated enough to see all that and to see that this offense is special. And it's special because it's got somebody making all the right decisions, and that person is Brock Purdy.
Well, let's leave with this, since this has been what I like to call the anecdote interview. We had the Silver Spoons interview. We've had many themes. Here's one for you. Sid Luckman, Otto Graham, Norm Van Brocklin, and Ed Brown. As of right now, they are the only quarterbacks to exceed Brock Purdy's average yards per pass attempt. Brock Purdy is at 9.9, tied with Ed Brown and tied with Kurt Warner in the year 2000. So there you go, Matt. You know your stuff, and it is very Kurt Warner-esque, and I would say Purdy's about the closest to Kurt Warner when it comes to storyline. Of course, he's got a little bit more to do, but they do look quite similar. It's a fun story to watch, and I'm sure an even more fun story to cover. From Matt Barrows of The Athletic. We basically helped you write your article for you, and we'll subscribe. You don't even need to pay us anything. We'll actually pay you, as we do, to read all your fun stuff at The Athletic. You can subscribe right now for just $1 a month. There's all kinds of Christmas specials going on. As always, appreciate your time, my friend.
Guys, thank you for all the great tips today. I mean, my hands started to cramp up. I was taking so many notes.
That's what we're here for.
It's that time of year. Yeah. Matt hasn't had his bye week yet.
Yes.
So. Thanks, Matt. Take care, brother.
All right, anytime, guys. Talk to you next week.
All right,
thank you.
Bye-bye. That is Matt Barrows. All right, tell me what we're going to do here. Are we going to push through? Is that what you want to do? Okay, so 23 still are out. We got a couple more minutes. Okay, good. Because, Jason, I've got some, and again, I want to, and just for